Goedemiddag iedereen, we gaan van start. Mark, take it away. En dan zien we nog wel wat mensen binnenkomen.
Ja, dankjewel. Ik ga mijn scherm even delen. Als het goed is, zien jullie nu allemaal mijn scherm. Welkom. Ik ben Mark Borgers. Ik ben een van de oprichters van 100% e-mail. En ja, ik hou me als een van de weinige oprichters ook nog bezig met echte klantzaken, met strategieën en projecten bij klanten. Ik maak de introductie maar even af. De andere persoon die je ziet is Fleur. Fleur is de moderator van vandaag. En we are proud of having Simon Mill in the house. Simon die gaat wat vertellen over Emarsys. Voordat we eraan beginnen, even een hele korte introductie van 100% e-mail. Wij zijn 100% e-mail ooit gestart omdat we vonden toen zaten we wat meer aan de klantzijde, aan jullie zijde, dat we vonden dat er veel te lang gewacht moest worden en dat de directe lijnen met de mensen die problemen oplosten voor ons te lang waren. En toen dachten we, dat kunnen we beter. Bij 100% e-mail krijg je je eigen e-mailmarketeer. We zijn software onafhankelijk. Dat is ook de reden waarom we met onder andere Emarsys samenwerken, maar ook met andere softwareaanbieders waar we deze webinar-serie eigenlijk mee organiseren. We werken alleen met mediors en seniors. We hebben een paar, ik geloof, we hebben het laatst eens bij elkaar opgeteld. Ik geloof dat we wel bijna 200 jaar aan e-mail marketing ervaring hebben binnen het bedrijf. Allemaal mensen met passie voor e-mail marketing. Ik kan een heel verhaal vertellen over 100% e-mail. Ga ik zeker niet doen. Ik laat jullie zo even een kort filmpje zien van 1 minuut en daar houden we het bij. Nog even de reeks van webinars waar we mee bezig zijn. We hebben 5 partijen gevraagd of ze een introductie wilden geven in hun tool. Dat zijn partijen die wij tegenkomen in de markt, waar we implementaties voor doen. Ja, waarvan we denken van, als je nou zelf in de positie zit dat je denkt van welke tool moet ik hebben of wat speelt er in de markt. Ik wil eens even weten of mijn software die ik gebruik, of die een beetje voldoet aan de eisen van deze tijd. Nou, daarom hebben we deze webinars georganiseerd. Mocht je je nog niet hebben ingeschreven voor de 3 die hierna komen, dan kan dat natuurlijk nog. Stuur even een mailtje naar marketing@100%e-mail, 100%.email. Dan zorgen we dat je ook op die lijst komt. Ik moet formeel nog even aangeven dat dit webinar wordt opgenomen. We gaan het ook op een site plaatsen achteraf, zodat je het nog een keer terug kan horen als je daar belangstelling voor hebt. Ik heb de introductie al kort gedaan, dus hier ga ik snel mee verder. Ons filmpje.
Hey jij daar, marketeer. Wat zie jij er lekker relaxed uit. Geen ondercapaciteit dus op je afdeling? En je haalt ook het maximale uit je e-mailmarketing? Maar hoe doe je dat dan? Oh, ik zie het al. Jij werkt met 100% e-mail. Met jouw 100% e-mailmarketeer kun je eenvoudig opschalen zodat jouw e-mailoperatie altijd op 100% is. Geen account of projectmanager, gewoon direct een verlengstuk van jouw eigen marketingafdeling. Samen stellen we de e-maildoelstellingen vast en gaan we aan de slag. Achter deze 100% e-mailmarketeer staat een heel team van specialisten tot jouw beschikking. En die zorgen er allemaal voor dat jij de beste resultaten haalt. En daarnaast hoef je bij ons ook nooit over te stappen op nieuwe marketingsoftware. Geef ons de login en we beginnen morgen. We mogen dit mooie werk doen voor een heleboel leuke klanten. Dus de vraag die overblijft is, hoeveel e-mailmarketingafdeling heb jij eigenlijk nodig?
Ja, nou dat is het verhaal eigenlijk binnen een minuut samengevat. Nog één ding voordat we echt de inhoud in gaan. We delen niet alleen kennis met webinars zoals vandaag, maar we hebben ook een heel mooi e-book geschreven over marketing automation, e-mail marketing automation. Mocht je daar belangstelling voor hebben, kan je die ook downloaden. Misschien kun je anders de link nog even in de chat gooien straks, Fleur. Ja, ook daar kan je hopelijk nog wat extra inspiratie vinden. Nou, genoeg voor wat betreft mijn verhaal. Ik wil nog één dingetje onder de aandacht brengen. Dat is namelijk dat we bij alle 5 partijen waar we het webinar mee organiseren, hebben we gevraagd of ze 3 dingen in ieder geval willen laten terugkomen. Namelijk toon 1 of meerdere voorbeelden van contentpersonalisatie op basis van klantgedrag in meerdere kanalen. Toon de mogelijkheden om automations in campagnes in te voeren. De vendor, de aanbieder mag zelf kiezen of dat nou aan het begin van de customer journey is of verderop in de customer journey. Maar in ieder geval die automation komt terug in het verhaal. En wat zijn de mogelijkheden om de customer experience wat meer te verhogen? Bijvoorbeeld interactiviteit in e-mail of push notificaties of op een landingpage. Dus die 3 dingen hebben we vooraf ook besproken met de sprekers. Die komen terug en ja, de intentie daarachter is natuurlijk dat het voor jullie wat makkelijker wordt om het dan te kunnen vergelijken. Schroom niet om zelf vragen te stellen. Zet de vragen gewoon in de chat. Fleur die verzamelt ze en er is tijdens het verhaal van Simon straks genoeg tijd om ook op de vragen van jullie in te gaan. Dan gaan we nu over naar Emarsys. Simon, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much. Let me just share my screen. Firstly, thank you to Mark and Fleur and the rest of the 100% email team for agreeing to kind of have me on the webinar today. Kind of really excited to talk around Emarsys and kind of what we're doing. Firstly, to introduce myself, my name's Simon Mills and I'm the partner executive here at Emarsys. I work to support and execute across our technology and agency partnership strategy to create the best experience for our customers. I've been with Emarsys for nearly 5 years, and one of those reasons for my such long tenure is that I've seen Emarsys to continuously develop our technology to meet the changing needs of our consumers, but also the marketers themselves. Now, for those of you who are not familiar with Emarsys is a customer engagement platform. We help digital marketing leaders and business owners at more than 2,200 companies globally to rapidly achieve targeted business outcomes, such as increasing revenue and increasing active customer database. We do this by unifying data from multiple touchpoints and automating highly personalized and engaging omnichannel customer experiences. It's also worth noting that last year we were acquired by a company called SAP, which I'm sure you're familiar with, to really fit into their customer experience strategy. Now, today, we're going to be looking at understanding some of the challenges and solutions to activating your customer data and delivering true omnichannel marketing. The purpose of this is to really challenge your thinking about the different ways of working. And what I hope you'll get out of today is the vision of how we enable our customers to deliver true omnichannel and personalized experiences. Now, when it comes to personalization, if we look at what personalization was back in 2008, it was very hard because there wasn't much data. All you could do was kind of basic first name and maybe a gender-based product recommendation. Now, as we've moved on nearly 15 years, the challenges are it's so much data across multiple touch points, with even more channels kind of popping up almost kind of daily, weekly. And customers are expecting connected and personalized experiences across all these channels. Customers want to be spoken to on the right channel with personalized content that engages them. As you can see from the slide, you don't want just a basic first name now. You want to be able to first be on the correct channel with recommendations personalized completely to you, with replenishment campaigns to really build that loyalty out, and even doing some clever things around geolocation to actually get people physically in the store and not just communicating online. Now, to help with this kind of explosion of data in channels, there's been a huge rise in point solutions. When I say a point solution, I mean like an ESP, and then you've got maybe a recommendation tool, then maybe you've got something for on-site to really kind of solve essentially single channel problems. You add on more and more to your technology stack in order to allow your marketer to deliver a great experience. Now, one of the issues we're seeing in the market that with all these tools have kind of forgot to take into account the actual user of the technology themselves. The marketers are having to log in and out of each individual system and really coordinate them to deliver a great user experience. Now, to function, the average marketing organization is using up to 91 cloud services. So if you look at your own business, to engage your customers, your marketing teams are going to be using a lot of technologies. You're going to be thinking of CRM, marketing platforms or a cloud, an on-site personalization tool, CDPs, abandoned cart providers, something to do with AI usually. And now all of these have your kind of customer data, product and sales data, but you can't really use them all to your kind of full potential. As you can see here in the slide, marketing leaders are only reporting using 58% of the MarTech stack's potential, because in reality, there it goes. When you keep adding capability after capability, we know, firstly, there's going to be a ramp-up period where execution is delayed when you're trying to adopt the new tech. Some tech might be neglected when the other platform is being onboarded, which means tech adoption goes down for that particular product. Or most importantly, you're siloing each solution's data set. So you might have Simon, who's a loyal member in your ESP, but your social tools are chasing him around as a defecting customer for a jacket that he bought last week. It starts to create a negative customer experience, and it creates a very complex ecosystem that they then have to operate. And ultimately, when they're trying to operate one new tech, it has a knock-on impact on the entire marketing stack adoption. Now, we've looked to solve this. So we do much more than just a single challenge solution. As I said, we're an entire omni-channel customer engagement. So we can operate across multiple channels. So we've built natively our own customer engagement solution that consolidates and unifies customer data, and then also executes across also those different channels. Now, by consolidating your technology stack, firstly, you're able to use more and also adopt more to drive true customer lifestyle marketing at every stage of the customer journey, be it welcoming a new customer or winning back a defecting customer, with the ultimate goal of driving revenue. One of the most common reasons businesses choose Emarsys is because they still don't know who their customers are. Because again, as I said, their data is separated across multiple systems. They don't know how to engage with their customer or where they are. And when they finally can pinpoint that down, it takes too long to segment, and suddenly that opportunity is already passed. So focusing on this slide, what could driving revenue, increasing customer lifetime value, and delivering a consistent and relevant experience look like if Emarsys is doing it? So first, we always start with the customer and where they are in their journey with your brand, whether a new or active buyer. Our solution proactively helps acquire higher value new customers at lower costs by, firstly, we can create lookalike audiences based on your active and loyal customers and start pushing those out to, say, like social channels. The solution then proactively drives second purchases and saves you from reacquiring the same customers with advanced segmentation, personalization, and built-in campaigns, which you can see down the bottom there: abandoned cart, abandoned browse, simple campaigns that are highly effective. It then keeps your active customers engaged and shopping more often at high levels by always proactively and in real time delivering relevant and consistent engagements. Last but not least, it keeps proactively winning back customers who are likely to churn or have churned to become inactive. And we've got all of these different out-of-the-box campaigns down the bottom. As I said, some abandoned cart, abandoned browse, but then more advanced ones around replenishment, maybe back in stock, maybe a price drop. Campaigns we see as a revenue safety net that all businesses should have, and yet not all do. Now, as I've alluded to, we know a lot of technology is added to meet new channels. Customers are continuously adopting new channels and abandoning them, especially we've seen over COVID with a huge explosion of data, people spending more time at home on the mobile devices rather than just a desktop. People can become very, very flippant, and it's hard to keep them as a loyal customer. Now, because of this, and before this, marketers have to be everywhere with their customers, and the experience and personalization doesn't have to end at the customer's device. So we're empowering business users across not just the online, on-site, but even in physical stores and call centers by surfacing the right information and a real time to value one-to-one personalized experience. So in store, that could be someone going in, and maybe you could have someone with a particular device, they might log in, and that will then show the person in store what they're most likely to want through a recommendation or an affinity to something they've looked at online. They can then help them to deliver that the quickest sale routes to the customer and deliver on that experience. in the same nature with a support team. So if you're using a Dixer or a Zendesk, we can surface information when people are kind of coming in with a complaint, and you can use that to actually turn them from a negative experience to a positive experience. And we're doing all of this across multiple channels, surfacing data across kind of multiple sites at scale. With the recent kind of Black Friday, when it comes for us, it's just another Friday for Emarsys, because we're used to delivering personalized engagements in real time across all channels. Now, there's a lot of platforms out there, both legacy and new ones, that don't actually own their own sending infrastructure, which means when they send the engagement to a third party for delivery, they can't always deliver at the scale easily. Again, the beauty of Emarsys, and I've said before, we're entirely natively built. There's nothing within Emarsys that's been acquired and bolted on. It's all one sign-on, one code base, one solution. Now, as we're scaling personalization cross-channel, we're very, very good at this, because not only is it native, but we understand the pillars to cross-channel marketing. Take a little tea break. So if I go through the pillars of really what Emarsys is, and this will come to life when I jump into the platform in a few slides' time. Firstly, we've got a fully integrated customer engagement data platform. You might have heard this called a CDP, or customer data platform. Essentially, it's the same thing. It's all around unifying data. Now, firstly, we do that from taking data from the actual e-commerce platforms themselves. So we've got out-of-the-box integrations, things like Shopify Plus, Salesforce, Magento, obviously SAP. But then we're also able to take data from maybe a Google BigQuery, take it directly from a POS system in store. So you can get a true idea of who your customers are, where they're shopping, what are their kind of like historical data looks like, what is their future potential going to look like. With that data, we can help you accelerate the steps between identifying a new opportunity in your engagement data and then executing with built-in strategies and use cases. So as you see things here, ones like replenishment, fast abandoned cart. These are all, we've crowdsourced the highest converting campaigns from across our customer base. Now, bear in mind, Emarsys has been going for over 20 years, so we've got a lot of data to really cherry pick from. And with these highest converting campaigns, we've then democratized them to the actual marketer. So they're all out of the box and ready to go to click. Now, once you've chosen these use cases, we can then start to personalize on a one-to-one level across the different channels. Once you've decided on the level of personalization you want, you can then automate across all these channels native within Emarsys. And then, of course, actually start to measure the business outcomes that we've done. So you can start to see your online data, offline data, what campaign is working the best, what needs increasing, what needs kind of like maybe a bit more TLC. And we're really doing this for a lot of customers globally. So as I said, we've got over 2,200 customers globally. Hopefully there will be some brands there that you recognize. I personally think we have the best customer base within our ecosystem. Within these brands, they usually come for us for two reasons. Both reasons I've alluded to. They're using disparate amounts of technology. So they're really struggling to find the value in having, again, like an ESP, but then also a recommendation engine, then a CDP, and then something else and something else and something else. Continuously logging in and out of different platforms isn't scalable unless you start hiring a huge team, which most brands don't have the luxury of being able to do. And within this, the second reason is that then marketers and also the brands themselves become frustrated that they're not really seeing the time to value that they've been promised by these tools. Now, it's worth noting as well, for those who are unfamiliar with Emarsys, we've got a very globally diverse client base, but 70% of our clients are usually in the pure play online or multi-channel retailer space. But we do have a large number of clients across industries who specialize in mobile first, publishing, entertainment, banking, travel is a big one for us. And we're continuously looking to expand these verticals. But with each vertical that we really look to, we make sure that the platform is geared around solving that vertical's particular problems, because we know what a retailer might be looking to drive footfall, an e-commerce brand might be looking to increase units per transaction. Now, some of the brands which we're really helping to help is, if we look here at Puma, which I think most people are aware of in some shape or form. Again, they came to us because they were using a lot of different solutions globally, and they really wanted to unify everything in one place and start to activate that. Now, the numbers speak for themselves. Within 6 months of their digital transformation, we increased the revenue just from email and their on-site channels by 5x. We increased their database size by 50% and open rates went up by 10, which is absolutely huge when you think of the size that Puma is and the work they're already doing. And I'll end on Emarsys. We deliver the predictable, profitable outcomes that your business demands and the highly personalized omni-channel experience that your customers deserve. Before I jump into the platform, are there any questions?
Let me unmute myself. Hebben jullie nu al vragen? Dan kunnen jullie die nu even stellen. Jullie kunnen ook nog jullie hand zeg maar, omhoog doen. Er is een knopje voor. Als jullie dat doen, dan kan ik even jullie het woord geven. En anders kunnen jullie gewoon even in de chat de vraag stellen. Het is natuurlijk nu heel veel verteld, best wel snel Engels. Dus geen enkel probleem om nog eventjes ergens op terug te komen als er wel bepaalde vragen zijn. En anders gaan we nu rustig aan door naar de rest van de presentatie. I invited everybody, Simon, to ask their questions.
Yeah, please do. Otherwise, it's just going to be an hour of listening to me, and I've got a horribly boring voice. So please do jump in at any time.
I quite say the same thing in Dutch just now.
Well, what I'll do, I'll just make sure. Can you all see Sarah Snow on the screen here?
Yes. Yeah.
Excellent. So I'll start running through the platform. The way I generally learn is through visualizing. So, you know, hopefully the PowerPoints make sense and you'll really actually kind of understand, you know, some of those issues with having too much technology when you can really consolidate it into one place. This should hopefully now make it a bit more alive and increase the understanding. But please, as I'm going through it, do jump in. So to start off with, as I've been talking around how we can unify data. So this is my good friend, Sarah Snow. Firstly, I will point out you don't actually have the picture there because that would be terrifying and probably all sorts of breaches of various data laws. But what we can see and what we do know is that firstly, Sarah is an opted-in buyer. She's also part of a loyalty program. We can see across her opens, click-throughs, purchases, the usual KPIs that a marketer wants to see. But we can even see how much she's spent so far. And we can even start to predict her lifetime value. So instantly we know there's still money to be made by Sarah. We still need to engage her as a customer. We can then even start to see how Sarah compares to others in your customer database. So Sarah doesn't open as often. But she does generally, when she does get the email, typically click through and is much higher at converting. So instantly from this, we can go, okay, well, first of all, we need to make sure that the email or the SMS or whatever channel she's really engaging with, we need to make sure it's coming through at the right time. So we can start using things like send times optimization to make sure that that mail is at the top of her basket when she's most likely to engage. But we also need to know that whatever she's looking at has to be relevant to her. So we can start looking at the latest product recommendations. We can even build out affinities for new products based on wisdom of the crowd. And then obviously we can kind of go down and look at kind of average purchases, last purchase, most valuable, and even start to look at clicks across different devices. Now, this is a fairly expansive profile. The more data we have, the larger it becomes, but also we can pull in more data as well. So we are built on an open architecture. So maybe if you're using, say, like a data lake, we can either pull data in or kind of push it out to give you a single customer view wherever you really desire. Now, this is obviously quite a zoomed in version of your customer data. So if we have a look at more of the macro view, this is our customer lifecycle tool. This is really where you'll spend more time when you're doing your segmentation analysis, where you can see your leads, first-time buyers, active customers, defecting customers. You can start to look at your retention rates, your win-back rates. You can drive down into predictive revenue. If we just quickly start on purchase patterns though, we can kind of see if we've got defecting customers and we want to win them back, and if they're most likely buying shoes, we can go, okay, what's the next logical step? If you've brought shoes, maybe it's socks. Let's start looking at that. But what's more importantly is that we can see if we convert just 1% of this cohort, that's over £5,000 or 5,000 euros of revenue that's just sitting there. So, okay, we know that we can convert that, we can get that money, but how are we going to do that? we're going to go into the segmentation tool. So when we profile data through our profiling data analytics tool, we run it through what's called an ERFM scoring base. So that's recency, frequency, and monetary. But we also have an engagement layer. With every customer we work with, we drop a script across your website so we can start to track who really is actually engaging and then rank it in cold, medium, and hot. Now, if I want to start segmenting on this, I don't need to go to an IT team. I don't need to go to someone else to pull this all together. We've made the platform as easy as possible for a marketer to use. So I'd simply go down to the attributes, click on customer lifecycle stage, find the defecting customers, save. Instantly, the platform gives you what you need to see at the click of a button. Now we can see there's 32,000 contacts here, but we can see that over 3,000 are hot. 3,000 have recently interacted with your brand. We know there's an intent here to buy. We just need to make sure that we're targeting them on the right channel with the right product. If we can increase 1%, that's 5,000. But using this to really delve down, who's your hot, who's your medium customers, why don't we look at increasing that by 5% or 10% or 20% and really start to gain the absolute incremental revenue? Now, you don't simply save that segment as a name. You can then start to add more kind of attributes to the segments, kind of based on like geolocation, or kind of add more rules to it. I won't go into that too much now, but we can later if it's something we want to see. You can kind of start to look at where your leads are actually coming from as well. And what I find really cool is within the actual analytics advisor, a lot of tools out there will, when they give you something similar to this, when they kind of analyze your client base, they'll take, say, like a fast fashion brand, and they'll look at the fast fashion brand the same way as someone who sells beds. But we know those types of customers are very different. So you can either set your own rules on what is an affecting customer, what's an inactive customer, or you can let the AI in the background whirl around and calculate that yourself. Now, once you've kind of got these segments, you can start to then obviously build out your customer journeys. But if I wanted to get something out really, really quickly, what we have is a strategic dashboard, which we've built to measure what really matters to a business. We went out to our customers a few years ago, to the marketers, to CEOs, and we asked them what was important to their business to be successful. And they said, we want open rates, we want click-throughs. And I went, okay, but does that mean you have a successful business? And they went, no, we need to make sure that revenue is increasing, our customer database is increasing. And these are the metrics we want more marketers to be focusing on, which is why we've given them this kind of out-of-the-box dashboards, where across different times, you can start to measure how your business is doing. You can break it down through different time periods. And currently, you can break it down between online and offline. In the future, you'll be able to do this by channel. We allow yourself to set a target. Say, I want to reach a 10% increase from this time to this next time next year. And now you've got an actual target you can then start to report on. Now, within this as well are the strategies and the out-of-the-box tactics I mentioned in the presentation. So strategies such as reducing customer churn, increasing premium customer revenue. And again, we've got out-of-the-box analytics to measure how this is going. So we know reducing customer churn is going well, but increasing premium customer revenue isn't. So we know we need to look at this to really start finding more value. And now within these strategies, we've got those out-of-the-box campaigns. We call them tactics. Now, as I said, these are the highest performing tactics, highest performing campaigns that we've crowdsourced globally across incredible brands like Puma, like Sports Direct, like Reese, like EasyJet, like it's incredible. Now, for this, in the tactics, you've got increased premium customer revenue. So things like low in stock, join low. Oh, that's not the right one. Sorry. Where's it gone? I've completely lost those. That's embarrassing. Essentially, there would be tactics around increasing kind of footfall, increasing X, Y, Z. Obviously, we've got much more though. So obviously, we can do things around kind of product data, around customer life cycle. If I wanted to create a price drop campaign, with this, I click what channels I want. So with this, I'm going to do email, web channel, which is our on-site, and also SMS. It will give you a quick blueprint here. Product catalog's been updated, product with reduced price calculated. We then match it to a relevant contact and then start the campaign. So here, what we're doing is, when I say it's clicking out the box, it really is. So what the machine in the background is now doing is finding what's the right segment, what's the most likely content, building out the exit nodes, the entry nodes, pulling together a multi-step campaign at the click of a button. Now, this usually takes a couple of minutes to make, but if you can now as a marketer envisage how long this would take in your current role with your current technology, if it takes longer than a few minutes, we should probably be having a conversation after this. There we go. Are there any questions before I go ahead? I can see some in the chat, but I can't actually read them.
No, not yet. No questions yet.
Okay. So this is our price drop campaign. So as we can see here, the price actually dropped. We've recognized that product, recalculated the new price. And we've started out now, firstly, on an on-site experience. So maybe they've come onto the website and we'll have that product with a price drop kind of there as a pop-up when they're ready to go. We can do this as quite one of the big squares in the middle, or we can do ribbons across the top to make it less intrusive. We've also got the opt-in status is true. So we're also going to send an email. If they've not purchased on this and they continue, if the SMS opt-in is true, we can also send an email as well. Now, although this is kind of out the box and ready to go, we always think that there's always that secret sauce that your own self as a marketer or as a brand will have. So this isn't static. If you want to add in another email, you can. It's really, really easy and user-friendly. So yeah, we've got some great partners to really help drive this, such as 100% email, where we can kind of get those revenue safety net of campaigns, like a welcome, like a back in stock, like an abandoned cart email out. And then you can start to optimize it and really do some clever and interesting things. But you can start seeing the time to value with emails such as this. Now, so the content is also kind of pre-built. So we just jump into that. So our emails are generally built on the block-based editor. So again, you don't need to know code. You can do it in HTML if you really want to. Typically, people don't. But here is an example of the email that will be sent out. So obviously, we've got kind of your hero images. Good news, a little bit of first-name personalization. This is where the product would be with the item and the new item price. And then we've got some product recommendations. Now, this is cool, but maybe we want to add something a bit more in. Maybe we want to add in some blocks for loyalty. So we'll drag and drop that in. We can start to see, or we can pull in what their loyalty status is, what the points are, and what points they have to send. So this is kind of good, a bit of personalization in the product recommendations, a name. We're pulling in all that loyalty data as well. But we want to do more because we know that customers demand more. So we've tokenized personalization. So now if I want to add in more data around loyalty, say, all I have to do is drag and drop. Obviously, you would drag it and drop into a much nicer place, but I'm just kind of doing this for the sake of time. And now, as this gets sent out to your kind of, your 50,000, your 100,000, however kind of many is in that particular cohort, it's going to pull all this kind of personalization through. So you've only had to personalize one bit, but it's going to be pulling it through on that one-to-one level to everyone. And then you can even start to test how this is going to look across different devices. So maybe across email or across your lock screen. So we can kind of see how it's going to look. Maybe that looks okay, but maybe you want to edit it to maybe suit a preference, or you've got something you want to try out. It won't harm this one. Again, I can go in, edit. Oops, I can't spell edit. That's how easy it is to really start to really increase the level of personalization, make sure it looks good, edit it to how you believe your customers want it, and then you can start to send that off. That's kind of really where we start to see the actual time to value of having these kind of campaigns out of the box, ready to go. And again, cross multiple channels with all your data in one place. What I will show you is, because this particular product is for retailers, we can also start to actually have a look at, yes, go away, at in-store analytics as well, which I think is really kind of unique to us, to be able to kind of have that online and offline data really married together, to start to see across your different countries and different stores, the dates open, store revenue, store purchases, average user per transaction, start to break it down between cities. So we can see that they're all doing fairly well, but obviously Kensington and Chelsea store, the purchases are lower. So what can we do? Maybe let's have a look at the other stores, see what they're doing differently, and really start to measure that. Outside of these kind of analytics as well, obviously we've got the actual individual channels. So obviously emails and triggers, mobile engage, SMS. We've got our on-site. We plug directly into CRM. So you can use Facebook, your Instagrams. Again, that's, as I said earlier, like creating lookalike audiences, pushing them out to acquire high value customers at a lower reduce rate. And we can even trigger off direct mail. So we're big on that, especially we work with Toolstation, I think out of the Netherlands as well. We love a bit of direct mail, doing catalogs, and we can even personalize on that level. Is there any particular channel that anyone's kind of interested in seeing? I've kind of shown the usual demo flow, but I'm happy to jump around and kind of show you what you'd like to see, what's really going to make this time valuable for you. I'm just going to show you my favorite channel then, which is our on-site personalization tool.
I got one.
Oh, you've got one?
Yeah, you're too quick. But you can do this one, but also web push.
Okay, yeah, web push is one of the newest features which we released a few months ago. So I'll do the web channel, go into the web push, because I'm slightly new to web push. So we'll see how useful I am. But just saying, obviously, that the web push is fairly new. We've got our own loyalty solution, which was released last year. Web channel's about a year and a half old. We're continuously adding more channels to support our customers. We put over 25% of our global revenue back into our platform to continuously research, develop, and expand. Anyway, my favorite one is our on-site personalization. If I wanted to create a campaign, we've got 3 different types. We can embed a product directly into the real estate, so directly into the website. We've got the overlays, which are like the big pop-ups, which you can do around maybe exit intent or maybe when you reach a certain page. And we've got ribbons, which are the smaller ones that will go along the top or bottom of the website, less intrusive, much nicer for your luxury fashion brands. This is kind of one of the reasons of how we helped Puma actually increase their database so much, because there are a few ways we do this around actual kind of content acquisition, where we were kind of looking to firstly activate new customers who are coming, but also look at reactivation, customers who are coming onto the website that maybe hadn't actually signed in, or maybe would come, have a look, then leave. So if I were to quickly create a segment for new contact acquisition, where you can either choose these from the automation center, a segment. I'm just going to do an identified visitor. You'd select, you can add kind of different filters across site language, cart value. So maybe with this, they have to reach a certain threshold of monetary value in the cart before they see it. And then you start to look at the actual placements. I only want to see it on www.emarsys.com. Maybe then actually add to your category pages only, or your search results page only. And then actually then start to look at the content, which again, out the box, ready to go, you trigger and schedule. And then if we go back to web push, which again, this is very new, so this could go horribly wrong. Again, you can start to see some of the ones we're doing there. So if I wanted to create a web push campaign, it's, create the message name. Again, what's the particular domain you want? So let's do best run. Again, the receipt source. So we'll say that we'll pretend that segment that I don't think I actually saved earlier. Did I? No, that's someone else's. Select that segment, and then we can kind of start to go. So test Simon. And that's when you then start to look at creating your content. What's it going to look like? What would you like to send? Where's it going to apply? And again, start to add in more levels of personalization outside just your first and last name. We've got hundreds of attributes which you can add. Again, we can do this across different languages as well. So wherever your customer is, we can personalize it to however they want. And then again, you're onto your scheduling. Conscious, we've got a little under 20 minutes. So did you say there were some questions? Sorry, Fleur.
Yeah. It was. By the way, it's very impressive, everything you're telling us. I think, at least, it's a lot of options, a lot of possibilities. But I got a question about something else. It's more like, it's possible to work with variables like shipping costs. If we change it, could it be changed to all automatic emails, or does it need to be changed by every email separately?
No, so we work with live data. So as long as we've got that data, we'll automatically update. We'll just kind of simple of just pulling in that feed. That's pretty simple. I can't show on this because I've not got the right platform. But if I can talk further after this on a separate call with whoever's asked that and show you how that's done and kind of give you some live examples. So I think my details are going to be shared after this.
But if you work with live data, I think we all already understand that it's possible.
Yeah, perfect. Anything else?
Let me see. Not yet. No, not yet.
Okay.
I'll let the people do their questioning right now.
Yeah. Well, I'll jump into one final one, which is kind of SMS. So obviously we're not an SMS aggregator, so we work with partners in like Cinch, Link Mobility, MessageBit, etc. But we've got full integrations where you can actively send outbound, inbound messages and do all the reporting as well. So again, as you go to each individual channel, you can start to actually see the revenue impact. So, we can start to see what's going well, what's not. We can see out of the revenue coming through Emarsys, 32% of that is directly from SMS. We can start to see the different countries we're targeting to, and we can even start to create a campaign where we can do from SMS or MNS. Oh, they've changed this. Again, similar to kind of how we've done other things before. Select your segment or a contact list. Where's my test gone? Anyway, and then you start to save and next, and then start to create what your SMS is going to look like. Obviously, we believe you should always be activating more than one channel at once, because we typically see the more channels you use. So if you're using an email and an SMS, or an email and on-site personalization, then typically you see a higher conversion rate. Again, going back to if you're using all these multiple tools, you're having to log in and out. By the time you can get them up and running, the opportunity's gone. The person's left the website. With this, because it's live, as people fall in and out of segments and different channels, it will automatically start to work. If we go back to the SMS, we can also obviously do ones around inbound. So this can be kind of opting out, like who's pressed stop. But also, if we know that people only really interact with your brand across mobile and SMS, we might want to send out an outbound SMS. We'll say, we've identified you as a customer we love, and you love our brand, and we want to give you a discount. We want to give you early access. So you can send something out, and then all you'd have to do is when people actually respond to you. So you almost start a bit of a two-way conversation through SMS, which I always find really fascinating and love doing. So you could add like first access. So people then respond. We've identified these different contacts as responding and interacting with the brand. Now, if we're pulling that from that segment of defecting customers who have recently been on the website, you're going to create that contact list, start sending out that kind of communication to get them coming for that early access, and you're more or less guaranteed to start converting. And again, that's going from, you not just want to convert that 1%, you want 5%, 10%, 20%, really like true growth and bringing kind of more incremental revenue into the business. And that's kind of really justifies everything within the platform, really, I think, just being able to actually kind of increase that revenue time and time again, and to make sure that, if you buy Emarsys as a marketer and you can actively show the results you're doing, you'll get promoted. That's I won't guarantee that, but something we definitely see. What else? Come on, people. What would you like to see? What would you like to talk about?
I got some questions.
Oh, thank God.
Well, as an example, you don't have it with cars most often, that you don't have more cars, but you can have more pets. And is it also possible to store that information at a customer level, that somebody has like 3 pet names or something like that? So you can say, hi.
You can. So we do this this is one of Nestlé's brands called Tails.com. They're a UK business. I don't know if it's built out on here. It's not, but you can. Yeah. So again, I can speak about this on a separate call, because we work with people like Tails.com, which is kind of a growing Nestle brand. We also work with Zumalia, which is like, I think it's a fairly large European brand based out of Germany. And obviously that's all based around different contact attributes, which we'll kind of build out to meet that particular customer. So obviously with Tails, I know how we do this. We firstly look at kind of what breed of dog, how healthy they are, because they go through a big kind of form to fill out all those different questions. What's your dog's name? What kind of breed is it? What kind of food they're like? Are they healthy? Are they losing weight? We'll take all that data in, and that way, when we're communicating out, we can make sure we're really personalizing to the highest extent.
Yeah. Okay. That's
so yes, essentially we can.
And something else about A/B testing.
Yes, we can. If I wanted to A/B test, let's create a quick program from, let's just do this. If I wanted to create, so I've got a new contact that's come in. I want to A/B split test which is going to be the best channel. So I can then start to send an email, also an SMS. Obviously, you can kind of change these to see what kind of value you want, what the path is. I'd kind of add that segment, add the content, and then off you go. And then you can start to measure that. You can A/B test across everything but the on-site experience at the moment. That's the one thing we don't do. So we partner with, I don't know if you know them, there's a company called Dynamic Yield, which when it comes to on-site personalization, you know, if you look at some of the recent personalization reports, they are the only on-site tool actually above us. But we have got an integration where we can push more of our data out to them, and we can pull all the testing into us. So if you're using them, 100% A/B testing. If not, 90% A/B testing. Okay. Is that going to answer the question on that? Is there anything you want to see?
Yeah.
Or?
No, it's already very clear. It looks great. And another question is, you talked about send time optimization.
Yes.
Is this on an individual level, or is it also possible with segments or only segments?
So we typically will look at this on an individual level. So we're actually kind of tracking who's been clicking through at what time. And if we know that I, as someone who never goes to bed on time, will be looking at my emails at 1 o'clock in the morning, they'll be like, okay, Simon's only opening his emails at 1 in the morning. Let's get him then. And we'll start to profile each customer. So this is kind of going back to the, let's see where it is, by the unified profile of Sarah Snow. So yes, go away. So rather than doing it at just a segment level, where you can set things to go out at one particular time, but typically when, do I actually have it on here? This is going to be embarrassing. We don't have it on this one. But we prefer to do it on a one-to-one. Everything we like to do is on a one-to-one level, because we see that's the highest conversion rate, rather than just doing like a batch and blast campaign out. So the more data we have on people, that's kind of then when we start to kind of do that at that kind of one-to-one level. Yeah. So yes, we essentially, again, yes, we can do it on a one-to-one level for send time optimization, or you can set your own parameters for doing a blast out to a segment if you just want it at one particular time. Okay, great. Those were the questions for now. Okay, that's more or less. Obviously, there's more kind of things I can go into around. Obviously, we've got our own kind of loyalty solution, again, natively built to Emarsys. It's, you know, it does what it says in the tin, really. We kind of get people to sign up. We can then start to kind of measure them and also reward them across kind of different tiers and benefits. You can set your own parameters for this. It also does have a referral scheme in to get your highest members referring other members in. But I think for this, I need more than kind of 9 minutes to really talk about it properly. And I'm conscious of, I've shown you, obviously, one of the greatest things about this platform is that there's so much to it. But also, when showing on one of these demos, I know it can be a little bit scary to suddenly see all these different channels in one place. It's worth noting that you don't have to take everything within the platform. We're scalable as a brand. So we work with some kind of smaller Shopify Plus agencies, smaller Shopify Plus brands that might only have kind of 50,000 contacts in the database that want to be kind of doing, you know, they want to be doing email, SMS, but they also want that that rich view of the customer. So that kind of that customer engagement side to really get that one-to-one vision and level. Now, as they grow, we can then start to activate more of the platform, more of the channels. So as you're growing as a business, rather than adding on more technology and bolting it on, siloing your data, really kind of bringing down that adoption, it's just a point of kind of click and go, and you're ready. And also with that, obviously, we do all the full training and offer 24/7 customer support. We've got Emarsys itself. We've got 17 offices globally. Now with SAP, I think we've got an office in pretty much every country. So there's always someone there to kind of help and see and talk to in your own kind of native language, which I very apologize for not being able to speak today. But next time, I promise to be fluent. Anything else?
I just ask everybody if they have the final questions. So I'll give them some time to think of the final question, and then I give the word back to Mark.
Perfect. Whilst they are having a little think, I think I might have said this earlier, I'm happy to kind of go into this on a more of a one-to-one level. I think my details will be kind of passed around after this as a bit of a follow-up. Please do reach out. I'd love to have some conversations with kind of work we're doing with similar brands, or if you've got any further questions around, how we integrate to maybe your particular platform, how we compare to maybe your particular stack. I'm happy enough to just do a session really of kind of almost like free consultancy to talk around how we could help. And if you want to take it further, happy enough to do. And again, thank you for giving me this time to present. Hopefully it has all made sense and you found it valuable.